So Rudy's got the commie cough, hey? Well, fuck. He's an older gentleman, but I don't know. I think he's had a heart attack or something minor, but, well, not like a fucking heart attack's minor by any means, but more than likely he's going to pull through. He's going to have all the resources available to him that Trump had as well, so I wish him a speedy recovery, and as somebody who's seen somebody recently go through the coof, fucking just doesn't look like anything worse than a sleepy head cold, so Godspeed, Rudy. And as you can see on the Epoch Times here, they got the little comment section on the side, and everybody's been, fairly nice and cordial because, you don't want to see anybody fucking die unless you switch over to Twitter, and I won't bother with that because I just want to get this story out of the way because I was going to start with something a little bit more technical, but this is the fucking big story of the day, right? So, well, fucking throw something together for it, I suppose. But you know what? Okay, with all of the hearings, more hearings coming up this week, the different state legislatures have already called for different hearings as well. So Rudy will not be there, I don't think, for most of them, even though Trump kicked the fucking thing in, 3 days. As good as Rudy is at these hearings, he's very good at setting up the questions that he already knows the fucking answer to, because that's what you do when you're a lawyer. You never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. It will give an opportunity for either Jenna Ellis to step up or somebody else, and I pray to God that they hire more good election-related lawyers and criminal-style lawyers. There are a ton of them on Twitter. You guys probably know the names already. Harmeet Dillon, Robert Barnes. I don't think I can go a day without having to reference Robert Barnes because he's fucking brilliant, and if you don't follow him, then you probably don't know what I'm going to be talking about throughout the day. He's a brilliantly smart man that doesn't get nearly enough credit, but let's go through what we know right now when it comes to Rudy here. President Donald Trump on Sunday afternoon announced the former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani contracted the China virus, the Kung flu. Giuliani, his lawyer, has tested positive for the China virus, Trump wrote on Twitter, referring to the novel coronavirus that causes COVID-19. Yeah, we know. Better soon, Rudy. We will carry on. I have no doubt they will, because they aren't just nobody's gonna give the fucking Trump legal team any sort of leeway on this, so you're gonna have to regardless. Trump added that Giuliani, who has spearheaded his campaign's legal efforts in key states, has been working tirelessly, exposing the most corrupt election by far in in the history of the United States. The president did not provide any more details about the 76-year-old Giuliani. Okay, I thought he was about mid-70s, but God, he doesn't look a day over 83, doesn't he? He still looks a lot better than Biden, let's be completely honest. Earlier on Sunday, Giuliani was interviewed by Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo and didn't appear to show any symptoms of the virus because, okay, that's why all of these numbers are a little bit fucked up, because we actually probably don't know how many people have actually had the disease, because what was it? Fucking thing ripped through a bunch of prisons, and then when they were tested for antibodies, people who didn't exhibit any symptoms, all the asymptomatic cases that came out of those. And also there was a meat packing plant up here in Alberta. There was the one that got a lot of publicity. It was a Cargill plant, and there was also another plant that was in southern Alberta, and I can't quite remember it, but everybody who was tested, it was either a plant or it was some sort of large manufacturing facility where the Coof apparently ran through everything, and a lot of people were just asymptomatic and took those antibody tests and they all had it. So it could be another one of those false positive things. Like, okay, I'll make another reference. Nick Saban, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, a couple weeks ago tested positive and then negative and then 3 more negatives, and he was allowed to coach. And then last week or the week before that, he actually had mild symptoms, but I think he's going to be back for next week's game anyways, because another late 60s older gentleman who has a feverish work schedule can get it and, be totally fine, just have a little bit of a coof. On the program, Giuliani made reference to the State Farm Arena surveillance video in Atlanta that showed election officials pulling black container boxes on wheels from underneath a table after poll observers and election workers were sent home. State election officials have said the process was not unusual, but didn't answer key questions raised by Trump's team when they commented on the video at the Georgia legislature hearing. And also, I don't know if you guys watched last night. I found it mildly entertaining, the big Trump rally for Kelly Loeffler and David Purdue down there in Georgia. You know, it was different than one of those campaign rallies that Trump was holding before the election, but I was watching it and it kept my attention, and Trump was up there for about an hour and a half. It was good. He was bouncing back and forth. He was in very good spirits. It was a fun watch. It's weird saying that about somebody who's 74 years old, but he's a compelling speaker. He's not a great speaker, but he's very compelling when he speaks. And then they showed a video there. That's what I'm getting to at this. They showed more clips from the closed circuit, the CCTV video that came out of the State Farm Arena, and then they showed specifically the one lady who ran the ballots through the counting machine, and then they showed her stacking the ballots up again and then running them through the counting machine twice, at least in that video clip that they showed. I will give you the fact that, you know, it's probably going to be edited to the best of the abilities of the Trump campaign in order to enthusiastically raise the morale of the base, obviously. And there was a lot of people that were there. Like, they panned the crowd and it looked like over 10,000 people. I would love to go to one of those rallies just to experience it, but being like 10 hours from the fucking border, and the farthest north he ever came, I think, was, did he do one in Montana? Regardless, anyways, I probably won't have a chance to. Maybe in 24, hopefully, if this channel does extremely well, I'll be able to go to one. That'd be fun, if we need to. So yeah, anyways, back to the, you know, this video is about Rudy having the cough, but I wasn't going to do a video on Trump's rally anyway, so might as well weave everything in, right? They spent the rest of the night counting the secret ballots, clearly secret phony ballots, in which they excluded all Republicans, all Democrats, all law enforcement, Giuliani said Sunday. Yeah, 4 people were left over. And I think that ended up being about 148,000 to 7,000, 148,000 to Biden, 7,000 for Trump. That would make sense, because we remember there was the graph with the spikes and the things where everything looked all fucked up, right? And yeah, I think the Democrats are going to learn from this one, where next time when they cheat, they're just not going to make it so obvious. But the fact that they had to cheat this much and then the margin of victory was only a few tens of thousands of votes really shows how big of a landslide Trump actually had. That's why all of us prognosticators for the election prior to releasing their maps, it just is like, yeah, he's not losing anything that he lost before, and he's probably going to pick up states like, okay, like the hot one was Minnesota, which I don't know if they just are really into BDSM up there, but that's between them and their fucking ice god. And Nevada being so hot, and yeah, Virginia looking like it might have switched there for a minute, but anyways, Giuliani said the legislature is disgusted by the video and other allegations that surfaced during the hearing. I'm starting to think, and based on all of the pressure that Brian Kemp is getting right now, he's the governor of Georgia, by the way. He is getting so much pressure right now that I wouldn't be surprised if we seen an emergency session called this week. I'm just going to float that out there. I think that's going to happen. This is a constitutional role that the founding fathers gave our legislatures. He said they're the ones who are supposed to select the president, not the governors, not the board of elections. They're the ones who have the constitutional obligation to decide on the electors. So in Georgia, they're going to do that. About a month before the election, Trump himself tested positive for the virus and spent couple days, in Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, which was just acquired by Microsoft, before he was released. His wife, First Lady Melania Trump, and son Barron, as well as other White House officials, tested positive for the Coof around the exact same time. And that's all we know about poor Rudy right now. You know, the old fuck's been through a lot, but he's also been through a lot tougher shit than that. Like, never forget, he was the guy who took down the fucking 5 families in New York. So I guess that just kind of ended up being a recap of Rudy's got the Coof and the Trump rally that happened last night. I don't know if the Right Side Broadcasting Network, I think that's what it's called. They had the feed there, and it was about a 5-hour-long live stream. If you guys want to watch, it's about from the 3:30 until about the 4 and change mark when Trump's up there. That's the only part that really matters. They had a bunch of other people. One name that was really shocking that was there was Dan Crenshaw, and he's been espousing a bunch of bed hedging neoconisms for the past month. So when I heard that he was there in person, I was very shocked and very pleased. Because regardless of how this election eventually shakes out with all of the goofy-ass ballots and all of the goofy-ass counting machines, which I hate reporting on because it always, I don't know, maybe I'm just tainted from what the media and the people who push all of the counting machine horseshit, they've just gone far off the deep end, and I can't really get behind them. But yeah, reporting on counting machines outside of, what is it, the Georgia ones that were opened and the serial numbers don't match. Like when you have concrete evidence like that, instead of, oh, the numbers, they were linked up to the internet and then they were all counted over in Germany and switched numbers. That just always seems like hyperbolic horseshit. I don't know where I was going with that one, but yeah, anyways, it looks like probably going to be hearing more out of Arizona just because what I see over there. And I remember that the Arizona State Legislature, which is actually a good Republican House, is going to be looking into the voting machines there as well. And Michigan looks like it's making some moves, but I don't want to report on anything that's just kind of rumor and innuendo at the time. And yeah, like I said, Georgia's something's probably going to happen there. There's too much pressure for them to do actually nothing about at this point. And, you know, having those 2 Senate runoff races in January kind of puts the pressure on Brian Kemp to fucking do something about it. So yeah, Godspeed, Rudy. Here's to a speedy recovery, and hopefully in your stead, a bunch of good lawyers can come in and help your fucking cause. Or at least take this opportunity to listen to people from outside sources who you guys have, like Trump also said. Oh, here's another point that he brought up at the rally last night. He has raised $250 million for that legal defense. Bring in some good fucking lawyers, okay? Don't have these kooks like fucking Linwood, and I don't want to lump Sidney Powell in there. I think she's just been fed a line of shit and she's running with it right now. But like I said before, the cases are good. Just stay away from the fucking X-Files type shit, okay? Okay. But yeah, enough false endings. We'll end it right there. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.